Namaste, beautiful yogis. I'm back with another contemplation. I just finished my workout, so the glow is natural. I just finished my workout and I wanted to pop in here real quick before I move on with my day. And I wanted to speak about the current situation in spiritual terms. So I already did videos that are in physical terms, and by physical I mean herbal tinctures and stuff like this, how to boost your immunity on a physical level. But let's remember that physical is physical and there is also final years of work. So today I just wanted to connect with you about the contemplating the future of humanity and just talking about the current situation. So I was really feeling a deep sense of sadness this morning, just bigger than the ocean sense of sadness. And I was telling Johnny that my sadness is bigger than the sadness of all of humanity. Dramatic, but I just wanted to express the depth of the sadness, and it was just this profound level of grief and sadness. No fear, no upset or anger, just deep, profound, humbling sadness. And because the virus is attacking the lungs of humanity and lungs our sadness, it is allowing us to refine and to go deep into that emotion. We do feel each other's sadness and the shared sadness in the world, in humanity, the sadness that is embedded in our DNA. And this is an opportunity to really go and feel and dive deep, go in those areas where it's stored in our collective shared DNA, collective consciousness. So the virus is attacking the lungs of humanity. So it is in a way a virus that is asking us to not suppress sadness, but feel the sadness that is part of our path. And as long as there is sadness on earth and suffering, we're all going to feel it on a certain level. Also, coming up to this virus, everybody was very anxious. I keep hearing from everybody that they have anxiety and panic attacks, and I think it's because we all, first of all, are bombarded with so much EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, but at the same time we're also feeling that something is off, something is not going the way it should be. We're not moving in a direction of ascension the way we're supposed to. And that doesn't mean that you personally are not. I'm sure a lot of us are working on spiritual level and in the finer layers, but humanity as a whole is not moving in a great direction. So this virus is an opportunity for all of us to pause and refine our thoughts and our emotions and reevaluate what matters. Viruses are known to upgrade our DNA. They allow us to upgrade our DNA, and also there is theories that viruses are shedding of the DNA. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna know for a long while how exactly viruses work. What we know is probably just seeds, parts of the truth. But viruses are known to upgrade the DNA of humanity, and of course they do take lives as they do that. And they do allow even the lives that are taken, or the people that have to come in contact with them, they allow them probably to ascend. In some level, everything is interconnected. And as I was praying, I opened one of my teacher's books, and it said that the prayer for the human soul is like water is to the spring. The more water runs through the spring, the more pure the water is. So the more water comes out of the spring, it becomes cleaner water because it cleans everything. And we know that running water is good water, still water is dirty water. But also prayer does the same to the soul. It just purifies the soul, cleans the soul. So prayer is important, feeling for everybody on earth, and the people dealing with the virus, the people dealing with hunger, the people dealing with suffering, acknowledging our own pain, suffering, sadness, that of our family, and just really, really going deep into our compassion and deep into our love for others and nurturing that feeling of love. There is no reason ever to feel fear, because whatever you fear, you attract. So we become magnets for the things that we're scared of. And we don't need to put our thoughts deeply and obsess over a particular thing like the virus, because things happen for a reason. They have a spiritual spirit that is the guide of that entity. So it has its own consciousness, and we have to trust that the light beings are doing the work as we are trying to ascend here on earth. And trying is probably an understatement, because there is a lot of low consciousness happening on earth, has been going on for a long time. I don't know what the percentage of people that are trying to be aware and conscious is, but the masses, there is big percentage of people that are just moving asleep through their lives without trying to awaken, trying to seek answers, without trying to search within, to pray, to connect, to realize on a deeper level the divine. So I think this virus is an opportunity for us to really, really work on our soul and to ascend, to deepen our connection to each other, and to see what is important and what is not, and how materialistic we have become as society. Even our social media, pre-virus, if you go through the social media, it just was a bunch of nonsense. And now I think it's starting to refine. And that is a reflection of what's going on within ourselves. We're evaluating what matters, aren't we? And there is a spiritual awakening happening, ascension, elevation of frequency. I've been hearing this from so many sources, including my teacher. The frequencies of the earth are rising. So the virus is probably assistance in allowing us to raise our frequencies. So instead of looking at it as this doom and gloom thing that is happening from outside of us and from an evil force, we can look at it from the standpoint of everything happens for a reason. There's no coincidences, and there is divine force that is beyond and above everything else. So even if you, for example, think that it was designed in a lab, or this in that country designed it, or that in this country designed it, because now I'm seeing all this division. Chinese are thinking it's coming from America, Americans are thinking it's coming from China, and there is this racial division and tension, and those things lead to war, usually hatred. So instead of getting into the small details of things that we may never find out because we don't know, we can instead pause, pray, deepen, go deep within ourselves, and go deeper into our prayer. And don't pray for a particular thing, such as, oh, this person to heal, or that virus to go away, or things that you don't understand, because we don't want to change the course of a certain person's destiny or karma or evolution, because we don't know why things happen. We can't pray for that, but we can pray for everybody's the thing that their soul most need in order to ascend to happen to them. And granted, that is not always what we will enjoy, and it won't be easy, but that's how a prayer should be. We shouldn't have a particular prayer for an outcome, because that is us wanting to affect the outcome of things, the course of life, and that shouldn't be up to us. There is higher will, higher consciousness, higher purpose for things, and we won't always understand everything. So as we move, see, I am moving, so I want to talk about this. When I move, I come from a place of peacefulness, calmness. I'm filled with love just because I moved. I'm not sad right now. I'm not cheery. I'm not sad. I'm not reckless. I'm not dismissive. I'm in a place of emptiness and quietly contemplating things, and because that's what physical movement, yoga or heat, the classes I teach do, they just clear the space so we can sit with ourselves. And I just interrupted myself. I wanted to speak in a different direction and I interrupted my own self. And I'm wearing, by the way, red because I want to express my nature, fire. So I wanted to symbolize fire, but we should burn the fear in the fire. Burn all the fear spiritually in the fires of passion and love and moving towards the divine. So yeah, the frequency according to many spiritual sources of earth are rising, and we're going to, with rising frequencies, we're going to face a lot of things. This might be one of many. We don't know what it's gonna be. None of us does. And even if we think that we can predict the future, sometimes it is up to interpretation of the mind and we can make mistakes. So it's better to surrender. That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that we have to surrender, and we also have to, in our life, contemplate death. I've spoken before about it. I think most of you that are my followers, we attract each other with frequencies. So even if we've never had a conversation eye to eye, or even if you haven't heard me speak about things, we probably attract each other for a reason, and we're in each other's life because in some ways we vibrate on the same frequency, so we share something. But we should contemplate death, because the fear of death is one of the main fears that moves people to do what they do. And the fact of the matter is that we all will die. I understand the practical fear of dying, not so much of death, but of dying, because dying can be a painful process, and without surrender it can become even more painful. So we have to contemplate those things, come to terms with them. There is also the fear of maybe after dying, where are you gonna know that you're dead, and are you gonna move in the direction where your soul needs to go? Are you gonna find your path, basically? So we have to contemplate those things, and each time we exhale, that's a small death. We let go, we surrender. Each time we fall asleep, that's a small death. We move into the astral, which what sleeping and dreaming is. So it's a mini training. So we have to constantly surrender, constantly contemplate what it is to lose the grip of the physical while you're still in the physical, but you're preparing yourself so you're not moved through this world through fear. That's not your moving force. Your moving force becomes love, and you surrender to the unknown, and you surrender to the fact that we're all going to die one day. So this is not meant to be actually a scary talk or a dark talk. It only appears dark when it is coming from a place of fear. So we do have to face our fears. I feel that if you are scared of certain subjects, you avoid them, and then you can sleep at night because there is something that you're scared of that you're not facing. The power of facing your fears, whatever your biggest fear is, because it is different for each and every one of us, although there is a common theme. The fear of dying, I hear, is a big theme. Public speaking now seems silly, right? In the current situation, I would go out and talk in front of any crowd about anything, and I wouldn't even think at all. And that the public speaking actually is very easily curable when we stop thinking of ourselves as important. All of a sudden you can go in front of people and speak because you realize your smallness, and that you're coming from a place of authenticity. You want to express something, and you want to channel also a message outside of yourself, something coming from above maybe. So you become just a messenger, carrier. You become unimportant, and that is a good way to deal with public speaking, which is not the problem of humanity today, but the problem is probably... All right, I got interrupted, so whatever I said. I'm gonna go eat a papaya and just stay in the space of love and beauty, because That is what we're called to do now. Fear serves no purpose. Fear is a magnet. So be very mindful of what you're fearing and be in the space of love, and take this as an opportunity to surrender, to learn surrender, to evolve. And our DNA is evolving, our frequencies are rising, the frequencies of the earth are rising. It is a beautiful and a painful process, and let's stay in the space of surrender and love. And let's see that beautiful creation of nature. Namaste.